Yeah, g'day YouTubers, Tinker O'Toole again with another video. Today we're going to talk about understanding and reading a micrometer and calibrating it and going over the different areas of a micrometer. So we're going to go, hopefully I cover from A to Z, and if there's anything that I haven't covered in the comments you can always ask. The other thing that we do have, these are manual micrometers. We do have a digital micrometer that's got 3 digits. It's very accurate. We do have some very accurate gauge blocks. So we're going to cover those areas as well. And we'll talk about these gauge blocks that it's supplied with as well. So there's quite a few areas to cover. So hopefully there's some information in there that will be very helpful, especially for beginners. Okay, so we'll pop a picture up here, and it's going to show the parts of a micrometer. We can see the frame, the anvil, the spindle, the locking clamp, the sleeve, the thimble, and the ratchet stop. So they're just the parts of the micrometer. So we'll look at the next picture, and you'll see the index line on the left. And you'll notice you've got 1 millimeter increments there. You've also got 1/100th of a millimeter, so it's 0.01 of a millimeter. And on the bottom, you've got 0.50. So that's your 1/2 millimeter. So when you're reading the micrometer, you've got to add the 3 up, right? So you've got to add up the top line, the bottom line, and what's on the thimble. Okay, the next picture goes in a little bit more detail. You can see the 1 millimeter gap, you can see the 1/2 millimeter gap, and you can see the 100th of a millimeter, the 0.01. So for the next thing I'm going to do is put up 4 pictures, and the first picture will just pop up here, and what I want you to do is to look at it and guess. So we'll give you 10 seconds and see what you come up with. Okay, so you should have got 10.94 millimeters. Okay, all right. We'll put another one up and see how you go with that one. So you should have got 33.33 millimeters. So that's what that one is. We'll pop up the next one and give you another 10 seconds. Okay, so you should have got 38.94 millimeters. I'll pop up one more and see what you get on that one. You should have got 63.61 millimeters. I'm just going to briefly talk about calibration. So if you've brought a set like that, it will come with 3 blocks. These calibrating blocks aren't the most accurate. They suffer from a bit of parallelism. And what that means is that 2 ends aren't perfectly dead straight. There could be a little bit in, a little bit out, a little bit that way, or a little bit that way. So what that actually means that when you rotate that calibrating block around in different positions, you'll get a different reading. If, however, you want better accuracy than that, get yourself a set of proper calibrating blocks. Okay, so what we're going to look at now is the basic calibrating of a micrometer. Okay, if you're going to check the calibration of your micrometer, you've got the sleeve and you've got the thimble, and it's the whole idea is that you turn so that they line up like that. So the 0, as you can see on the sleeve, we rotate the thimble till the 0 comes around, and we should do 2 clicks, 1, 2, and it lines up pretty good. That should be done at 20 degrees. However, let's just say that it's out by 1 or 2 lines. If you turn it over the back, you'll see the little hole there. You get your C-spanner, put it in there and turn it in the appropriate direction, and then you should be able to rotate and get an accuracy of like that. What we're going to check today is to make sure that the anvil and the spindle are parallel. So we're going to check parallelism. Now, these are fairly cheap set, but they've been fairly accurate, so I really want to make sure what the parallelism's like, because yeah, you can check it with a gauge block, but a gauge block won't tell you how parallel it is, because you need a sphere, a round ball. And if we move that round ball around the anvil and we get a variation, then we'll know that it's not very good, or it's got an error in its parallelism. So that's what we're checking for, parallelism errors. Now, the thing to remember, the ball bearing ball that's in here is extremely high quality. There's all different grades. This is sub-micron grade, but we're going to hold the ball in the same position. So therefore, if our parallelism is of excellent standard, it will mean that we'll be lucky if we move one line. And even if we're in between two lines, that'd be 1/200th of a millimeter. So I'd be really happy if we got that. And yeah, we'll see how we go. So what we'll do now is just undo, move it down the bottom, 2 clicks, move it up the top, 2 clicks, move it away again, 2 clicks, move it up towards me, 2 clicks, back in the middle, 2 clicks. And look, I think that's pretty good for a cheap micrometer, that the parallelism on it is way more than acceptable. So this would be okay in a machine shop environment, long as you didn't want any more accurate than 1/100th of a millimeter accuracy. So this certainly meets that standard. Okay, so what we're going to do is check the micrometer for accuracy on 2 sizes. We're going to use 10mm and 20mm. So we've got calibrating gauge blocks. There they are over there. And we'll set this up and make sure how accurate it is, so that when we use it, you know that it's calibrated. Now, when you're using calibrating blocks, make sure that you wear a glove, you don't put oily substances on there. And we'll do the 10mm one first. That's it there. Look at the mirror finish. You need to wipe them, because you'll end up with lint or dust and dirt. They just accumulate. Anyway, so that's pretty clean, right? Anvils are clean. We'll just pop it in there and we'll have a look at that, and you'll see that it's out by a little bit. Not by much, but by a line. That's okay. Just do it again. 2 clicks. 2 clicks. So as you can see, it's out by a little tiny bit, but well within the acceptable level. Right, so there it is. It's okay. All right, so that's a 10mm one, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now, we need to go to the 20mm one. Now, mind you, these calibrating blocks are in the microns for accuracy. And also make sure that you wipe the anvil with the lint-free cloth. Because if you don't, you know, when you're measuring and you're measuring for accuracy and you're testing your micrometer, you need to make sure that you've got rid of every lint, every little bit of dirt. Otherwise, you'll end up with a different reading. Now, this one's a little bit different. See, it's out one by line. That's a little bit better, by about a half a line. And just make sure, there could be, you know, if you're not sure, repeat the operation again, and we'll just repeat it. I always notice that this 20mm, even though that it's dead accurate, the micrometer is not linear through its range, but it's still within the 100th of a millimeter. So that's just below 100th of a millimeter. And that's almost halfway, so that's still an acceptable level. Nothing wrong with that. So that's the deviation of it. Almost 1/100th of a millimetre. It's got a slight little bit of variation. So if I measure another block, we could do another block. Let's do something really fine. We've got one here, 1.005. We'll just clean it. It's this little small one here. Just clean it at the end. Try and focus on that. There it is, 1.005. So we'll just check that and see what that comes up like. As I say, it's good to have a set of calibrating blocks, because then you can understand where your micrometer is least accurate. So let's check this one. That's about pretty close, because it's 1.005 and this can't measure that fine. We'll put another one in. We've got a 4mm. We'll do a 4mm. With my digital micrometer that measures 3 digits, it measures 1 micron, that's where you can really do some fine measurements. But when you're dealing with something that only can measure 1/100th of a millimetre, which is probably okay for most people, and we'll put that in there. That's 4mm. Look at the 0, right? Spot on. All of these gauge blocks are extremely accurate. The only other thing that I've mentioned, I think I've mentioned it before, is that the micrometer is on a fine thread. 50 turns from 0 to 25. And if that fine thread, it depends on the machine that it was made on, and that's what can throw a micrometer out slightly. But this is certainly well within its limits. The specification of it says that it can measure 1/100th of a millimetre, and it can measure 1/100th of a millimetre. Okay, so this is a really high precision pin that was out of the compressor that these little ball bearings also came out of. Anyway, look, I just want you to have a look at that and see what number you come up with. So we'll just give you 10 seconds to look at it. Well, you should have came to 11.97 millimetres, but it's in between the line. So you could almost turn around and say 11.975. So yeah, look, it's closer to the 9.7 than it is to the 9.8. So yeah, look, that's the other thing. If you're going to read in between lines, you can do that, but you've got to take it to the closest, and it's more closest to the 9.7 to the 9.5. But what we will do is put the digital micrometer exactly in the same place, and we'll see what reading we get. That'll be interesting. Okay, so that's interesting. There's a digital one, 11.97. So yeah, look, that's not a bad accuracy, the cheap micrometer. So it came up very, very, very close. So yeah, really happy with that. So yeah, it just goes to show you. Look, that's probably as much as what I could probably show you. The rest is up to you. There's nothing wrong with having if you can't afford or you don't want to buy a gauge block, if you've got something laying around that's ground precision like that pin, as long as you put it in the same position and measure it and know what it is, you can always use your micrometer, and whether you've got digital or manual, to make sure that it's going to fall in that same range, give or take. Well, if you've got this is a 1 micron, so pretty accurate. I hope this information helps. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.